we are on the rush of Triton Poker Series. There are 3 winners of Hold'em events so far. Okay, actually had to be 2 by the moment, but there was one more additional $50K tournament added. It's good news. And at least a couple very cool stories came out. Event number 1, $50,000 Hold'em. Oh, what an end it was. The final table bubble, unfortunately, it was Sam Greenwood. Listen, Steven Chidwick, Jason Kuhn, Phil Ivey, they reached the final stage of the event. But we faced the heads-up battle between 2 Hungarians. Andras Nemeth this time was stronger than Laszlo Buytas and took down almost $1.1 million. Once again, an amazing lineup of the final table, including Alim Shirovic, Paul Hua, Mike Watson, and Jake Schindler. But somebody else stole the show, just like yesterday, but this time it happened in a staggering buy-in of $100,000. We had kind of the same situation. So this time it was duel of 2 players from the Netherlands. Tom Wogesan got 1.4 million as a runner-up. Toon Herman Mulder, he was crowned as a champion for a bit more than $1.9 million. And it's just the money for the first 2 places. A total prize pool of $6.6 million was formed. That kind of money, it blows my mind.
Limping in from the small blind against this chip lead. Says run it, and how about that for a flop? Jack 8 deuce 2 pair against the gutty and the heart draw. Buckle up.
Flop is just a massive cooler. 2 pair here is just barely a favorite. That's how big of a draw. You know, Volgasang is probably going to play this aggressively, and I don't think Watson's going to, you know, he's not going to fold. This seems like a pretty good spot to make a raise, as Volgasang.
Well, beyond the card removal associated with the queen and the 10 of hearts that we hold and some of the connections that it interferes with, we just don't have information on Vogel's hand in terms of him just checking back from the big blind. Obviously, we take some hands out we suspect that he would be wanting to put chips into the pot with. So from the 100 to the 400 and now to an all-in. Oh. And the ace of hearts now giving Watson the flush. Vogelsang needs to fill up on the end. 4 outs once.
And Watson with a completely, oh my goodness.
Is that a royal?
Another royal flush.
It's the second
Watson
time we've
finally
seen
makes an expression. It wasn't even about making the winning hand on the turn for a, who knows, a pot worth hundreds of $1 million maybe. But making the royal flush, you know, forget $1 million. Making a royal flush, you don't see that every day.
What was the thinking process for you in that hand?
Yeah, I mean, it was, you know, a blind versus blind hand.
Situation was kind of standard. It was Michael Watson limped. I check my jack deuce.
Yeah, I decided I was just going to bet out on the flop with my huge flush and straight draw.
Flop 2 pair. Nah, he bets.
And then, you know, he raised me pretty big.
I raise. He 3 bets.
At that point, I feel I'm just committed to the hand. I don't want to call and then face like a huge turn bet where it's going to be awkward. So I think I'm better to just re-raise, put the pressure back on him. Maybe I can find some hands that he might fold. And, or, you know, maybe he has like a smaller flush draw and I can keep him in and get some extra money out of him.
It's pretty standard. I don't know much to say about it. The run-out was not so standard.
Obviously, the run-out, making the royal flush was very unexpected, but it was pretty cool. I mean, especially in a big televised, huge stakes spot like that.
I was running so good back then. I was really thinking I was going to win, but I didn't. But, I mean, what happened was pretty standard. Just one good hand versus another hand, and I went all in.
But it didn't make any kind of influence. Okay, it was 1/3 of your stack at that point, but you recovered pretty well.
No. Actually, after that hand, I lose another hand, right? And I was back in the pack. Then I lose another all-in. I think Queen 9 versus Ace 10, and then I was in the middle of the pack again after that. But in the end, it all worked out, so can't be mad about that hand. I was got lucky a lot of times too. So
Was it the first time you got it?
No, I've definitely made a number of royal flushes in my career. I mean, playing a lot of like short deck and Parliament Omaha, like they're not as uncommon. So I mean, playing online too, so many hands. I'm sure I've made more than I can count, but live only maybe a handful. I wouldn't know how many offhand, but at least a few.
And what about the biggest, your victory on the poker career? Yeah, like 1.4 million. What was the feeling then afterwards? Taking down that one.
Well, me and Tim both were so tired, but we were so happy. Like we've been doing this together for almost 10 years now, and to get our biggest scores on the biggest stage together was the most amazing feeling ever.
Did you know it was one of the very first situations like that in all of the Triton history?
Yeah, I heard. Well, they said it was the second one that's already happened this week.
Yeah.
But for obviously Triton has been doing this for a while, so for it to only be one of the very first ones on the stream like that is extra special as well.
Yeah, actually, it was the second one, and both of them it was on the back-to-back days and back-to-back tournaments. The final table of Triton Poker Cyprus Special Edition Series $75,000 blind short deck was formed including names like Richard Young, Jason Kuhn and Mike Watson. But one and only, Phil Ivey took down the second high-stakes tournament in Cyprus in less than a year. This time he got a payday of almost $1.2 million. By the way, both his victories were in a short deck. Triton Poker is for the first time here in Cyprus, and Luca, all the time you was here during all the series, what was your experience being here?
Yes, the first time the Triton comes to Cyprus to Merry Poker, and it was a beautiful experience, and we were thrilled to be here. It was very interesting to come to a different location, to a new location. I personally have never been here before, and the feedback from the players and from our side as well was more than positive. So we're thrilled to have been here.
The very last Triton Poker Series event was one more $75,000 short deck. Delin DeVoris and Danny Tang were among the finalists. What about Elton Sang and Iwan Lowe? They reached the final stage in both of the short deck events. Finally, Wilfred Yu outplayed others. He got $1 million for his victory. It was 6 days full of higher stakes, world-class players and even a couple of royal flushes. I hope that Triton Poker will come back in Cyprus in the near future.